Hi there, Robin here from Expert On, and today we're going to do some Q&As and a product announcement. Today is the day that Alto says that we can talk about a new product that we're going to have arrive later on today. It is a new subwoofer, a 12-inch subwoofer. Yes, lots of people have been waiting for the TX212s from the UK to show up here. That's not exactly what's showing up. What's showing up is their very first bandpass style. We'll throw some pictures up here of their subwoofer. Now it's a 12-inch, so this is very exciting. So it's going to be a carry-around piece, easy. Because they chose a bandpass style, it's going to radiate bass. It's going to radiate bass out of it, no problem. So it gives you the impression that it's more than it actually is. So that's a big plus for a product like this. Now, the most exciting thing is, besides people wanting a 12-inch, they were also looking for this to go with their TX series. So this way they would have an option, a reasonably priced option. Now, there's reasonably priced, and then there's reasonably priced, and then there's what they did here. This is called the TX212s. This is part of their TX series. So it's 900 watts, and I'm going to assume that that's their peak number because that's what it does say on the spec sheets. And we'll probably, until we see it, say that it's 450 watts on the RMS, kind of like what they're doing on all their other products. The box is reasonably sized. You're looking at a dimension size of 16.5 by 16 by 20. So I mean, this is going to be a fairly small box. And this is the big part. In the US, $299, $300. In Canada, $450. So basically the exchange rate thereabouts. This sub is going to be sold out in no time. We've got a skid of them showing up here for us today in Canada, and in the States, it's going to be exclusive for now at Guitar Center. We're going to have links for both our Amazon site in the States for the day that it shows up there, and we'll also have a quick link to Guitar Center. We'll also have a link if you want to learn more details right now about it. You'll find it on our website because it's going to go live 10 o'clock today. So that's going to be all there. So there you go. That's the big news. That is the new 12-inch sub. Now, on top of that, some of the other big features, it's going to have a built-in Dsp processor, like their TS3 series subwoofers, which are going to be customized for their models to maximize sound quality and sound performance for the TX208, 210, 212, and 215. There'll also be options for a bypass and a low pass setup for it, so this way you can hook it up to any speaker at all. You do not have to have an Alto top to buy this. Remember, this is built for all those folks that either DJ for fun, like I'm doing house parties, that sort of stuff, or you're a small band or a garage band, or you need stuff for your rec room. This is awesome. I mean, to buy this sub even for your home theater system would probably be like pretty awesome. 12-inch size, the way it's going to project sound is going to be really good. I have no worries about dollars in proportion to how much bang for the buck, because so far in the last 2 generations of products, they've exceeded customers' expectations with their products when it comes to price point. So, you know, price low, performance high, you couldn't ask for anything better than that. So we're going to move on from that because we are going to have a video go up later on today, if not tomorrow morning, but I'm hopefully by end of today have that for you. We just have to wait for that product to arrive today. So, like I said, big news from Alto. October 1st, 10 a.m. this morning, product announcement for the TX212s. So let's get on to a couple of questions. Besides that, one is everybody's question about subwoofers. It looks like there's not going to be a TS312 anytime soon. This is what they're putting their money towards in North America. So this is a North America product, exclusive currently, but not necessarily forever. So have a look at our links down below. So right now, Guitar Center bought everything they have in the US, and when it does become available in other places, you'll see it for sure. Like I said, I would probably use our Amazon link because that is my affiliate page. I have no affiliate program with Guitar Center, so if you're looking to help me out, that's how you do it. So, or if you're in Canada, by all means, visit our website. We ship everywhere. Now, on to some other questions. I've got one here from Chris, and it has to do with setting up his mixer, and he just wanted to confirm what he was doing. He's talking about having the mixer set up at Unity, and he refers to all his channels being set up at Unity, right across here. So he's saying they're at Unity, and I'm assuming that's what he's saying, because he didn't say the word dynamic, which is what I'm going to get to. At Unity, and he's putting his line out at Unity. Where should he put his speaker? First, I wish he used the word dynamic Unity. Dynamic Unity makes reference to these lights right up over here. When I'm setting up a mixer, I will bring this up to Unity. If I have a speaker on or a monitor on, I'll have it on low, just enough to hear it, let's say. But what I'm trying to find out is, I'm trying to balance off the rest of the mixer with no one channel being above dynamic Unity here. So this way I can really control the overall volume of what's going to go to the speaker. The gains on the back of the speaker are really there to size up the size of the room and how loud you want to play it. So for example, if I use my phone and I just use some pink noise just to make this all work, we'll do this. We'll get this back to the beginning because this is not a very long piece. So I've got my phone just on some pink noise, and I've got it plugged in channel 7 and 8. So I bring up 7 and 8. What I'm trying to do is having my main, even though we're not listening to anything, I don't need any volume on. What I'm looking for is on this particular mixer, Unity is 0, and it's the second to last green light on the board. So they do keep the plus 3 dB in green on this board, not always. And then I bring it up. Now I can control this. I'm going to, again, get all my levels going. And what I'm trying to do is find myself the magic that's going to let me be at 0. If it flickers a little bit in the plus 3, I'm not concerned about that. But I want that the constant be there. Now, as I'm setting up all my channels, I'm going to have some channels louder than other channels, back and forth. But I don't want the loudest channel to necessarily go above 0, Unity, or 3 dB, that sort of thing. Then I can turn up my speaker as loud as I want until it hits the limit. Once that limiter goes on the back of the speaker, playing at Unity here, I've kind of maxed out my speaker capability. So that's important to always take note. If I'm blinking at plus 3 dB here, then I want to see that limiter light just kind of flickering on and off. If I jump a little bit more, I'm going to assume that my limiter is going to be more intense. That's my maximum volume. Now at that point, I now have complete control here of the entire mixing board for line out. I've set my speaker out at the maximum if that's what I want. Now there's nothing wrong with your speaker being at only 25%. If that, when I'm at Unity here, is how loud I want the room to play. This way your mixer is always comfortable and easy. You don't have to remember anything else but Unity up here to make sure that you've gotten your speakers to the maximum level. Again, I may have the volume lower on the speakers, but I'm trying to drive everything to its maximum dynamic sound. I don't want to compress anything down. I don't want to suppress any volume where it's not necessary. It gives me the most dynamic range possible in the sound quality, so I find. So yes, I like to be at Unity here. Now, if I'm DJing or something like that, yes, I may have this down a little lower during an earlier portion of dinner, that sort of thing, but knowing that, when the party really gets going, I'm going to go right back up to Unity. So that's hopefully going to help you out there. Remember, dynamic, that's what counts. Unity here, and then the limiter on the back of your speaker. New question. Let's go ahead and find ourselves a new question. Yes, it's a nice one. It's also about a TX series. TX212. He's asking, can I use this on my TV instead of going out and buying a soundbar? Absolutely, but you will probably have to either buy a small Bluetooth mixer if your TV has Bluetooth on it. A smart TV would, let's say, a newer one. If not, you do need to get yourself a digital to analog converter. It's a DA converter. We'll put a link to that so you can find that easily. It's a little black box. It allows an optical cable to come off of one side and gives you RCAs out on the other side. That'll allow you to do that properly because you're making reference to instead of a soundbar. So yes, that's the whole point. You can do that. The only drawback is that a soundbar usually has that digital to analog converter built into it. It's one of those little optical cables that plug into the soundbar, and there you go. But for sure, if that's your choice, because you're talking about being able to use it for little gigs and stuff like that, No problem there. And a comment about the bubble juice and the bubble machine video. I didn't really talk much about the actual juice that was in that video, and we're talking about American DJ for in this case. These all have women's sheets on them. So, and he was joking, going, he was at a thing where there was a band playing, and there was bubbles all over the place. They were landing in their drinks, and you know the drummer had it landing on cymbals. Now, two things to take note when you use proper bubble juice, because you know. Even here, I have it going off, and I've got mixing board, and he makes a reference to that. I have a mixing board here, and the bubbles were landing on the board. Now I've been doing this for years, so I've learned the limit to what you can do. You don't want to run this for like 10 minutes straight. That's crazy. But in here, I can give a burst for 30 seconds and not worry about it. It's got a high evaporation rate. The women's sheet, it's probably got about as much chemicals as dish soap in it when it comes to, if one lands in your drink, I don't think it's going to kill you, or else it wouldn't be out there anymore. Really what we're talking about is a product that has enough tension in it to hold a bubble, and that's about it. These things are incredibly diluted, which is why you get an entire jug for next to nothing. But like I said, if I'm going to use it indoors, I'd probably want to use something that has a women's sheet, and that usually means buying something that has a name brand on it, like in this case, American DJ. Outside of that, high evaporation rate. So yes, it does land on my mixing board here, because I always have a mixing board off to the side of the table for doing the videos and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not too worried about it, because once it hits there, it's like evaporated in a matter of seconds. It's gone. So it's not really interfering with that. If it lands on boxes or on the table, very little problems. Only if the fluid itself and it's concentrated, liquid form, spills, then you're going to end up with a stain on something. You got to wipe it up and that sort of thing. But if it's just the bubble itself, it's so minute, it's not even noticeable. So there you go. It doesn't leave marks on clothing and stuff like that. So like I said, not too upset about using this indoors. Outdoors is always better. I mean, that's really what it's all about. Or use it as like what I call a shock and awe. Blast it for a few seconds. Everybody's impressed. You don't need to run it anymore after that. You just get that big wow effect, and then you turn it off. And then later on, you'll do it again. You only need to turn it on for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. That's about it for that. So there you go. Good comment, though, because, everybody thinks about that after the fact, right? I've got a question here in reference to plugging a USB microphone into a mixing board, and saying maybe you could do it through the USB, because that was his point, because he was making reference to very popular pile mixers. They're 43, 63, 83 series, which have Bluetooth, USB connection back to your computer, MP3 player, all that kind of stuff built into it, including recording. So he was hoping maybe he can plug his mic. Unfortunately, USB microphones have basically a little sound card built into that USB, and that works really well on computers. Be it a Mac or a regular PC, your choice. It does work on both. But the downfall is the mixing board does not have the ability to add drivers to it. So your computer would add and update drivers to it. It says, oh, what's that? Oh, it's a USB sound card of sorts from, in your case, Audio-Technica. Well, I don't know what to do with that. Well, let's go get the driver and make it work. Okay, no problem. That's how that works. So when you do that onto a piece of hardware like a mixing board, it only has the drivers that were required to make it function properly as an MP3 player, Bluetooth, and all the other functions that it has built into it. So plugging that in most likely is not going to work. So that's the downfall to a USB microphone, by the way. So there you go. Okay, so I've got a few more questions. We're going to save them for another day, because I want to make sure I get this out there for you by 10 o'clock or 10 o'clock-ish. So we'll get in some more questions on the next Q&A, and our next video is definitely going to be about the Alto TX212s Subwoofer. Look for that later on today.